Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of Draw for Turn. Hope y'all are doing great. We got an exciting episode tonight. Alright, let's draw for turn. We're here to bring you commander insights and hot tech to level up your game. Each episode focuses on a different topic with our 4-man pod to give you all our spicy take on it. Guys, it's been like 2 weeks. What's going on in the world? How y'all been?
Oh, well, I finished the mono white monstrosity AI called God Eternal Oketra. It's 42 dudes, by the way.
42.
There's 42
That's par
creatures
for
in the deck.
That's par for the course. That's par for the course.
That is par.
But it's basically a bounce deck. Like, I included all the all the white creatures that make you bounce something to your hand, so like they can do it to themselves. So basically, it's like, here's to 2 mana. I'll take a 4/4, please.
Absolutely.
And then like just you do this a bunch of times. Like, if you can't see this as me doing the hand motion where I'm putting the card on the table and then picking it back up again.
We're jamming things onto the battlefield right now.
But I did get to test my next creation, which is Muldratha, but I'll put it this way: it's 101 card deck, so you guys will see that hopefully pretty soon.
We have a VOD of a cockatrice game with it.
Oh yeah, if you want to go, if you're interested in seeing what this Muldratha deck does, go check it out.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll put the link for that in the show notes.
Yeah, I want to say like people have a stigma about Muldratha, and this is like not your typical Muldratha, because I'm trying to build like not your typical decks, because that's like I feel like that gets people interested in playing with me. So you know,
I mean, dude, you're fun to play with. Like, aside from when I can't get you to sacrifice stuff with Vivictus because you've got Sigarda out. I mean,
listen. You knew, as soon as you say this on my computer, you knew what this was.
I did, honestly, no, I did. That's true.
I mean, I'll put it this way: I don't get any value, so like you can't make me you can't make me get rid of you can get rid of Sigarda, but like you can't get rid of my other stuff. So like that's fine, you know. Then you can't make me do that thing until you get rid of other stuff. Like I can hit an aura and then nothing happens if I don't have anything to attach to it. So
I'll grant you that. EK, man, what's going on? Why do you sound so great today?
I completely upgraded my everything. So my computer fried itself, so I had to go buy a new computer. So I treated myself using the government's money.
I mean, that's a good way to use the money.
But like magic-wise, you know, the thing that we actually care about, I've been playing Saskia Wild Pair.
Ooh.
And
that's that deck from Jim from the Spike Feeders, right?
yeah, except like I took his deck like mostly, and then I did like my own spin on it, playing like my Boros cards and stuff like that, and then adding in like Lurking Predators because that card is awesome.
Yeah. But you didn't include Haktos.
It's true. He's got a point there. That's like that should have been an easy 7. That's a 6/1, man.
Yeah, but like
Can't get rid of.
For those of you who don't know, the whole deck is focused around P&T equaling 7 because Saskia is equaling. It has P&T 7, so basically, any time you play a creature, you get any creature from your deck.
But the funny thing is Saskia doesn't even trigger the Wild Pair when she's coming from the command zone.
Yeah,
It's just flavor reasons, and like 7 is just such a good number. There's so many good creatures on it.
Yeah, like Luminous Broodmoth, which should be in that deck too.
That's
How about Samut? Like Naya Samut.
Well, Samut was in Jim's build, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. Samut's like probably the best card in the deck.
I just want to like casually point out, you got Adam playing 42 creatures, was like the number to solve all life, if we all remember Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And then you got EK playing the lucky number 7. Like, were we just going thematic here?
It was 41, and then I cut Blind Obedience because I determined that wasn't a creature.
And I'd like to point out that normally you play a deck that is like 42 artifacts. So this is like a big deal for you.
Whoa. Okay, this is basing on the joy. I said that deck with Historic Tribal, and I stand by that. There's Legendaries and Planeswalkers in there.
Artifacts are historic spells, though.
They are.
And I stand by that.
Yeah. It just says the artifacts do most of the work.
I mean, they do. You draw. This is true.
Yeah. Drawing cards is good.
Yeah.
Steven, you've been like grinding like big boy matches, haven't you?
Grinding them, yeah. I would like to have been a little more successful, but I've been playing a lot of standard, a lot of historic. I'm not a fan of it at all right now. I'm so
Oh,
glad
I'm
this is a
sorry.
Commander podcast. I'm so glad because
then we
the
don't
format
talk
is
about
just
standard
not even worth
work.
talking about
So,
right
so,
now.
so this is the escape for you, is what you're saying.
I'm very excited right now to be talking about this.
The relief.
Anything that isn't, if I see a Wilderness Reclamation set, I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah, I better not play Niv Reborn then.
I mean, you only have to deal with it for like a couple more months, so.
It's too
What,
long.
Yeah,
It's too long.
3 or no, yeah, like 4 more months,
Yeah, rotation soon. I think September, right?
something like
Yeah,
that.
it's whenever after M21. Whenever
Whenever
Yeah.
the new Zendikar set comes out, I think.
When the fetch lands get reprinted, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's get reprinted and the shocklands go away.
New commanders.
Oh,
What am I
man.
thinking? Am I right? Commander Legends.
Fetchable Triumphs is the worst
Yeah.
thing I can think of. But anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, at least they don't get immediate value.
fair.
Yeah, unless you got an Amulet of Vigor.
All right, host, what about you?
Well, my week's been busy, to say the least. Like, work aside, work is work. But I finally got a commander deck I've been fucking waiting for 2 months, 3 months for.
Longer. You were
Longer.
supposed to have that. We were supposed to go to Palm Beach in April.
We were.
Eh,
I was
Those of you
supposed to
can't-
have Gishath here.
This is a foily Gishath on
Oh,
the
yeah.
screen, right?
It
Yeah.
is the pre-release version of the Gishath because when
Mm.
Swazi and Ike hooked me up, I had to be like, I got to get a commander to reflect this. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of blinged out commanders, fun fact: for the Muldrotha deck, I actually was able to get a commission from this guy, MIB Altars, out of Italy,
nice.
to do my Muldrotha. So if you're curious about what his work looks like, hit him up on Facebook. Just search MIB Altars, and he does this really new school kind of art style, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
That's
definitely.
definitely going to go on the Twitter feed at some point too, because it's just from the the concept sketches. It's so cool. Like
Yeah.
one of
He
the
showed me
coolest.
some, he showed me some of the other stuff he's working on too. Like I'm sixth in line to get mine done, but I saw everything ahead of me. I'm like, yeah, these are all awesome.
Take your time, dude. It's worth the wait.
There was a I don't know. I probably shouldn't say what else is on there, but it's better people would just be surprised. Just go give that guy a like on Facebook. Like his altars he's my favorite altarist by far.
Hey,
I just like the art style is so unique. It's I don't see any other altarists doing stuff like that.
I mean, even 6th in line, that ain't that bad, honestly, to get to
Yeah.
the commission line.
He said he'll probably start. He said he's going to do it next week, so that's
Oh,
good enough for me.
Dude, that's all right.
That's faster than I thought.
Yeah, honestly. Sometimes I know a couple times it takes a little longer on some commission artists, but that's all right. Yo, it sounds like we've all had some legit good
If
weeks.
you're curious about what altars are or how to find an altarist you like, hit us up on Twitter at Draw for Turn. Was it at Draw for Turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
We'll guide you to some fun some of our favorite altarists.
We got connections, I think.
We just follow a lot of people on social media, is what it is.
So true. All right. Hey, Adam, do you want to take us through our news on the stack this week, man?
Well, I do. So we've got a minute to talk about various news in the world of Magic the Gathering. The news on the stack. Well, let's get and see what it's all in today. So before we got to the actual, there's not much news, but we did want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement real quick.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff that's been going on in the world has been very serious. All eyes we've seen on the Black Lives Matter movement. Everyone's been giving their input on it. We wanted to give ours. So with the recent events happening, we wanted to give our viewpoint on what's going on. We are a very inclusive podcast. We love everyone coming in to play Magic. Magic is, I think, one of the best games to get a group of people in to hang out and have a good time. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from in the world. I mean, we're all separated in different states and countries, and we got friends that come online to come and play. We encourage everyone to be treated fairly and equally. We stand behind the movement to bring forward equality for Black Lives Matter. Guys, this is a time for change. And like I said before, there's always room at our table for people.
Yeah, there's room at the table for everybody, especially if you're out there listening and you're black, there's always room for you at our table for sure. That goes without saying.
Yeah, the table
I said
never ends.
You got.
I was just gonna say we might be a 4-man pod, but pods grow, man. They
Yeah.
grow.
All right. So in light of the Black Lives Movement, Wizards did come out with their own statement and include some recent bans across all formats. If you're curious as to what those the cards banned were, you can hit up the Wizards website, the WotC website. There is an article about it.
Yeah, it's a full statement. Everything.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's not really going to affect I think it was the right thing to do. Honestly,
It's probably not affecting a single one of your decks.
no.
Like I would venture to say that.
Yeah,
But they needed to go.
It's the right thing to do. They've been needing to go for a while, honestly.
Yeah. And if anything, it opens up the door to do it more, which I certainly encourage. I mean,
Definitely.
the last thing you want to do is to make someone uncomfortable that you're playing with. If you're just, if you're playing a card that doesn't exactly have, the nicest of art or context and name, something like that. Like, just do everything in your power to make everyone feel comfortable, everyone feel welcome, everything like that.
Commander's all about fun. We're all about having a good time. Like, that's the whole point of the game. And I mean, with the bannings, if anything, too, I think this gives Wizards a chance to do some reprints of those cards with new names, different looks, a whole new, like a clean slate for stuff that maybe for a card that's fun. Like it's a good chance for them to wash away what shouldn't be and bring in what is to be.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. Now into less serious matters. Let's talk about Core Set 21 coming soon to a game store near you. This is, I think this goes without saying, this is the spiciest core set they've done in a while. We got lots of crazy reprints. Name alone the first ever reprinting of a little card called Grim Tutor, which is the questionable third best tutor in Magic.
That's like what, 20 years coming?
Yeah, only featured in Portal 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's an amazing card, but like this is a card that probably needed to be reprinted and wasn't affecting anyone that does. But now we have an actual Omni Tutor with very little drawback in Standard. Also, but like that's people, obviously as a Commander podcast, paying 3 life isn't that big a deal. But other reprints of note include Azusa Lost But Seeking from Kamigawa, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, like OG Ugin,
Daddy Ugin,
with an awesome like showcase art as well.
Lots of powerful new cards, including a 5-mana 6/6 with a million a million rules texts.
Word soup.
And all that 6/6 needs to do is like attack or block. Like, I'm sorry, you have a 5-mana 6/6, aggressive stats already, and you get shit for attack.
I will say this: they did make it 3 green and not 4 green, so we won't have a reprint. We won't have a resurgence of the Thragtusk again.
That's true.
I still stand by that meme that I shared with you guys the other day, or the 3 options on the green card that we're talking about. We're like, choose one: get bounced by Teferi, get bounced by something else, get exiled by this, get instantly removed by a 2-mana removal by that. Like,
I want to say this card will have its day after rotation.
Yeah.
But like in Commander, it's a bomb, but like
for sure.
It's deal withable though.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Like we have dozens, if not like 100 ways to deal with that card.
Also, just as for we're not all about green and blue cards around here. There is a red card that triples your damage output, so there's that.
That is insane.
If you're
red decks, just play that.
Right? Yeah. Well, I was going to say, if you're a fan of gratuitous violence, it's time to change gratuitous violence for this.
Or Furnace of Wrath or anything like that. Yeah.
For like 1 red mana more, you triple your damage instead of double it.
Yeah, well, they're on this tripling kick all of a sudden. First Nyx Blue Mansion, now this.
I had to reread it.
Yeah.
They haven't done triple strike though.
I feel bad for all the judges because they're gonna have to do math for people.
Oh
yeah.
Math.
All right, and then last, this was not actually in our notes, but Core 21 collector's boosters. First time this has happened. I mean, I will say some of the art on these cards looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, but it's a core set. I mean, do you really need a collector's pack?
I guess
it's just not the product for you.
No, I'm tired of hearing that. It is a core set, but it is different than other core sets. They are really pushing the envelope on things this time.
I will say I like what they're pushing. I think these are fantastic reprints to have in a standard set. I know standards, it's going to be broken. It's going to be stupid, but hey, like the fact we're getting some reprints, right?
Yeah, like we're getting lots of cool reprints too. I'll put it this way, but like when it comes to this thing, like how many core sets have like sat on the shelf?
20.
I'll put it this way. Yeah. I'll put it this way. My LGS top deck games in Westmont, New Jersey. When you go to Commander Night, the buy-in is you buy a pack of any pack. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen someone buy a core set pack.
Wow.
And it's like 0. I've never seen anyone buy a core set pack.
Okay, so let me pose this to you. If your buy-in is to buy a pack, are you buying a Core 21 pack?
If I feel like not spending a lot of money, I usually buy a fancier pack, honestly.
Okay.
Because
let's talk if they only have standard legal
Yeah,
sets.
yeah, okay.
If they
That's
only have
better way.
standard legal packs, I'll probably buy a core pack just because I wasn't planning. I wasn't planning on buying a booster. I was only planning on buying singles. So
I think it totally depends on when I'm going for that night. Have they banned the whole set into Oblivion yet?
yeah, that's true.
I'd like to point out they tested this set with Oko, Veil of Summer, and like all of those cards unbanned.
And thought it was okay.
Yeah. So now they're not there. I don't know. I think like the real meat will show once rotation happens, and this is like your base set kind of thing. Like we'll see how good these cards really are, kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's a standard thing, and we're Commander podcast.
Yeah, so. I'm saying there's still a lot of good Commander goodies in here.
That is Azusa. EK Azusa. Man, Azusa.
For the third time.
Yeah, you know I'm a fan of Azusa.
Oh, I know you a fan of Azusa. I want to see your Azusa legendary deck coming up. Is what I want to see.
Never mind.
I already have one, and it's a dear friend of mine. Made Azusa plus 74 forests.
All right, listen. Before we move on to our main topic, I just want to point out relevant in Planeswalker deck Chandra. Okay, let's move on there. Let's just end the topic there. They did it finally. They did it. They made a Planeswalker you can buy in a Planeswalker deck that's relevant in some way somewhere. So let's move on from there. Like just 2020. Throw all your Magic rules out the window.
Yeah. It's free games.
If anyone, I mean, we've had multiple things get crossed off on Apocalypse Magic Bingo this year. White gets card draw. There's a playable Planeswalker deck card. Like
Apocalypse Magic Bingo.
All right,
I need to play this.
Speaking of breaking all the rules of Magic, let's talk about some cards that do so in our main topic.
All right, this is a spicy topic we got today, guys. Are you feeling hungry? I'm feeling hungry. I mean, I like a slice of pie.
I want some pie.
Pie's good.
Pie is always good. So people are probably wondering me, hey, what's the pie? So guys, we're talking about none other than the color pie. We're getting your slice of white, your slice of green, your slice of blue, your slice of black, and your slice of red. Guys, why don't we just run through like what kind of the traditional stuff of each of the colors is?
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're gonna learn how to break the color pie, we should know what the color pie does in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
No, I wish it was a pizza pie, but no. So basically, like in Magic, every color has things it's like good at doing and things it's not good at doing. So, and that's kind of been the way, at least for most of Magic after like the very beginning, has been these are what the colors do. These are the color identities. You know what I mean? So, like example, I'll start with an example. So, like white mana. Traditionally, it's based around gaining life gain, board sweepers, protection effects, token generation, vigilance, that kind of stuff like that. Like like other colors typically don't dip into that. I mean, occasionally you will see like stuff with lifelink in black or like Wrath in black or red. But white is traditionally known as this is what the color does well, and like white doesn't. But white is typically known if it's having some of the worst creatures and no card draw and no ramp, which is pretty rough. I mean, I'm not saying that white doesn't have good creatures. Of course it does. It's just most of them are pretty lackluster.
Yeah, it's the 6th best color. What's it supposed to do?
Are you saying colorless is the 5th best color?
It might be.
It's probably first or second. Come on. Continue.
All right. So then, going in rule order, of course. Blue's usually good at just straight up card draw, copying things, countering things, taking extra turns, tapping and untapping things, and it's new keyword milling or making people overturn cards from their deck. By the way,
keyword. It's on Twitter.
24 milling now an official Magic term.
Thank goodness.
But blue
the story for why milling is called milling is hilarious from Maro's Twitter.
Yeah,
so
blue usually
look it up if you're inclined.
blue usually struggling with like raw removal, the high damage output usually. Usually is more looked at as a complementing her or the control aspect of a deck. It is known for evasion though, which has because blue has I think the most flyers in the game.
It's close, if not the most. Yeah.
All right. But then like usually it has trouble dealing with artifact like literally any permanent for the most part. Like it doesn't like most blue cards won't remove a permanent, but they will do something else to it, like bounce it or turn it off.
At best, they can delay it.
At best, they can like delay it. Yeah, they most of blue's actual dealing with permanents is they just don't happen kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like it's a bounce normally. There's no destroy. It's like return, tap, bounce.
Yeah,
it doesn't actually remove it. It just makes it a problem for someone else later on.
Right. Yeah. So, and then next to Woodward, black usually excels in tutoring, tutoring cards, discard, a lot of removal in black, a lot of targeted removal in black as opposed to mass removal. Playing in the graveyard, draining life. A lot of, I want to say, like. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically, you pay. There's a cost. You get something really good for either not a lot of mana or a low, but there's some kind of investment you have to make, like paying life or something.
So WotC themselves, and I wrote this down because I thought it was really cool. WotC themselves calls these devil deal cards.
Oh yeah, so like example will be greed. Like you pay a black and 2 life, draw a card. So like paying 2 life would be your devil's deal. Like you're using another resource you have to get something else, but for a much lower cost than other cards.
It's like a return or trade on. There's an added cost to it, but the actual mana cost given to it is relatively low in comparison for the effect.
I mean, I think let's use Grim Tutor. You know what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Get any card from your deck for a reasonable mana cost. Pay 3 life, but you get any card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also black tutors don't require you to reveal anything to the opponent.
No, it just goes straight to your hand.
Yeah.
Black usually he struggles with removing anything other than a creature though. So like artifacts and enchantments it usually has a problem with. Also I would say like
it also from what I've noticed, black has a lot of trouble removing black.
Yes, black for some reason is very good at removing anything that's not.
Even like
any black creature is usually pretty safe from most black removal spells.
That's because you were supposed to make them discard it before they cast it.
Probably potentially.
Yeah, it was never supposed to happen in the first.
Yeah.
This is why I had not expected back in the day. It was so brutal because like it never happened cards.
Hippie was amazing.
Turn 1 dark. Black actually has some ramp, even though it struggles with it. Like it has some degree of ramp. Like it's weird ramp though. It's like
it's rituals.
Yeah, so it's like a one-time thing. Like bubbling muck or the dark ritual or cabal ritual.
Yeah, I was about to say like the namesake for rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has some mana double. It has some things that double your black mana output on your lands, but for the most part, like. Everything is like a very fleeting thing. That's kind of black's identity. And then moving on to red, this is more of like the direct damage. Let's go real fast. Not
fire
really
and brimstone.
Fire and brimstone. Yeah, lots of haste. It doesn't really. It draws cards, but in a weird way, it has the impulsive draws and the rummaging as opposed to blue, which is just and black, which is have straight up draw power. Red's also known for a lot of wheel effects, effects that will make people discard their hands and draw or shuffle their hands and draw new cards.
Dragons.
Yeah, dragons.
Specifically with rummaging, I love how red it feels. It just feels so careless. Let me discard these cards. It's gotta be better, whatever I draw.
It also has a tendency to play around in the graveyard with spells in the graveyard a lot. Like they're big on the flashback thing.
Yeah, there's some like jumpstart, is there not?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's jumpstart. There's straight up flashback too. Red has a lot of in Commander. Red has a lot of goad mechanics too, which is forcing people to attack certain directions. Yeah, also dictates combat and extra combats. Also has what's called threaten effects, which is taking a permanent for a little bit. Not maybe may or may not be giving that back, but that's completely. Oh, also, it specializes in either copying spells or changing the targets of spells.
Yeah.
As opposed to countering them, which is what blue does.
Even some confusion effects too, right? Like we have Possibility Storm or like other.
Yeah, red. Another red identity is chaotic effects. So that's stuff that you don't know what's going to happen. Red usually struggle. The big thing red struggles with usually is actual raw card draw, actual raw ramp. Well, most of the red ramp is through rituals, or it relies on artifacts to do,
or like temporary effects like Nahab. Can't forget about that.
Just a big one.
Yeah, just some temporary mana. And then the other thing it has a problem with is red just cannot deal with enchantments whatsoever. Like certain enchantments will ruin Red's day. Like for example, in my Anjay Falconrat deck, I have to play Chaos Warp so I can deal with Rest in Peace. Else I will never get to play the game.
I think what's kind of interesting too is like Red's identity for rituals versus like Black's identity for rituals, right? Like Red's payoff is big rituals that can splice onto each other, gain effects for in the grave, or versus a tap land, whereas like Black's is very much like a 1 mana for 3 return on like Dark Ritual. Equal to the number of lands you have. Like the approach on the rituals for each color is really different too.
Yeah, the red rituals have a lot more raw mana output, but are usually conditional. Like my favorite particular red, Mana Geyser.
I was about to bring that one up. That's my favorite too.
And then green, which has seen probably the most deviation in color pie over the years. There's a lot with lands, and let's make some mana. Let's have the best creatures. Let's make some tokens. It doesn't really, it does a lot. It has some untapping shenanigans. It doesn't like artifacts and enchantments. It even doesn't like lands a lot of time. It has a lot of fog effects. But green usually struggles to remove a creature without having your own. Or drawing card, and drawing cards has always been up until recent history. Up until recent history.
Yeah, the last couple of years, really, right? Like, but it's all conditional draw.
Yeah, it's like play a creature with 4 or more attack, play a creature with 3 or less attack.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what color identity means for all the colors. But there are tons and tons of cards in the history of Magic that break the color pie and are useful in Commander.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know.
Actually,
to pose the question, what exactly does breaking the color pie mean? I'm gonna pose that question to you guys. Like, what does it actually mean to break the color pie?
Yes, tell us, Astrals.
Well, in my personal opinion, breaking the pie, like it's something you're gonna do like outside of the color, right? Like if I'm thinking red, I'm thinking like we talked about a rummage effect, or I'm thinking chaos effect, or I'm thinking haste. But what if I saw a green card with haste? What if I saw a red counter spell? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
But like blue's counter, but red has a counter magic. Black has counter magic. White has counter magic.
A green stacks card, for example.
Green stacks card, yeah. Black extra turn cards. Red white extra turn cards. Like things that are outside what the color would normally do. Like there's interesting little nuances that you get, and they're not too few and far between, but they don't happen often. But they're noticeable, right? And
and like in the early history of Magic, since Magic was kind of like the granddaddy of what card games can be, they kind of didn't know what worked and what didn't, so they didn't really like stick to strict color identity a lot of the time or ever, So there are a lot of cards made it through R&D and still exist, and you can play them. And we've got a bunch of them to talk about. We did give the homework for 1 for each color. I think most of us stuck with that.
I definitely didn't.
Let's start. Let's start on the end. We'll start. We'll go in rubric order again. How about we start with Mr. Swazzo? What is your white card that breaks the color pie?
All right, so my white card, I'll scroll down here. I chose Not Forgotten. It's the Shadows over Innistrad card, and I believe we all wrote this down. I think that TCG player value is like 15 cents. It's not a lot.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's a sorcery. You put target card from a graveyard, doesn't have to be your own, on top or bottom of its owner's library, and then put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So what this is doing is it's breaking the graveyard recursion rule that's a black trait. And
Or green.
Or green, yeah. I would say that green is breaking it as well. No,
I think like one of the most iconic recursion cards is a green card, Eternal Witness, and this is a white Eternal Witness in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also pretty flexible in that, like, if someone is doing stuff in their graveyard, you can make them tuck the card that they might want.
Exactly.
Or if someone needs,
or something
if
like
someone
that.
has something in their graveyard that you're gonna need, like, say they've already used a Wrath earlier in the game and you need that Wrath back, you can not forgotten, an opponent to get them the Wrath that the table needs.
There's a lot of, especially when you're playing with more than one opponent, there's a lot of ways that you can really use this. Especially in a format where I know there's 4 of us at the table, but there may be only one copy of a card between the 4 of our decks. It's a good way to get a second cast out of it, if nothing else.
Yeah.
All right, Astrals, how about your white card?
Oh man, mine, eh? Well, mine's not technically. Well, I guess it kind of is.
It might as well be. Okay?
Yeah, it's a red and white card. So my white pick was Chance for Glory. Guilds of Ravnica, only $1.17, like kind of okay. But creatures you control gain an indestructible, and you take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of the turn's end step, you lose the game. So you get an extra turn. I mean, it's got the red flavor. You lose the game, but indestructible and you get an extra turn. That's pretty cool to me. That was my pick. You guys know I'm big on some fun little shenanigans you can do with red.
I mean, I play this in all of my Boros decks because chances are when you're playing it, you're gonna win the game.
Yeah.
You just go for it. Yeah, so typically red doesn't take extra turns, but white does do the indestructible thing.
Yeah.
I mean, as we'll find out later, when we talk about red cards, maybe red does do extra turns.
Yeah, but
spoiler alert.
Yeah, but when red does something like outside its color pie, there's usually some kind of hilarious drawback.
Like, yeah, you tend to like have to sacrifice everything or like lose the game
or just lose. Yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, that's why I love it. It's such it's a blowout effect, but it's you're stealing the extra turn ability of blue, but you're going bigger. You're going home.
Yeah, so it's do or die. So
yeah,
make it count kind of thing. Also, in theory, if someone wants to, you could use this if someone wants to wrath you, so, wrath the board, and you want to punish them for it.
Oh, hugely.
Yeah, because you can break the turn order with this because the way it's worded, it says take an extra turn after this one, and it's
so you get the next turn. Yeah, but I mean, you will lose if you don't kill everybody else. But
go big or go home.
Yeah. Basically, this is your chance for glory per se.
This is your mom's spaghetti moment.
Wow.
All right. Wow. Well, I've got a gem of a white card for you. Hey, did you guys know that white had a control magic spell at one point?
What?
Yeah. So this card's called Debt of Loyalty. It's one generic and 2 white for an instant. It says regenerate target creature, gain control of that creature. No, nothing else. It's I take your dude.
Thanks.
And it's instant speed, so you don't have. So you can do it off turn. So
it's only three mana too. It's 1 and 2 white.
Yeah, and it regenerates them, so it puts the regeneration bubble on. So if someone wants to rat the boards, we need to really deal with this one problem card, so I'm gonna do a rat. It's well, I kind of like having that card, so I'll just take it instead.
That's a yoink if I ever saw one.
It's a big yoink. I think this is. I can't remember. It is a reserve list card. It's about $5 now because I believe Mitch and the professor have mentioned this card before.
Yeah.
By the way, I know this episode comes recorded right in the same day or at the end of a week of episodes where Mitch from the Commander's Quarters has done color pie breaks. It's purely coincidental. We had this topic for a while.
But for real though, a lot of these cards are just good to know about.
Honestly,
yeah, I'm not saying you will run into these cards a lot, but they are cards that exist in Magic,
and they're good to know about, and B, pretty much all of these cards are cheap.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
there is one
incredibly.
there will be one
incredible.
exception later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like one that's maybe not, but it's also a surprise factor too. Like if you're walking in with like I'm on a white deck or mono green deck, you might want some spice just to throw your opponents off, right? Like
Yeah, a lot of these cards are going to be gotcha cards for the first couple times you play them.
Oh yeah, like it's kind of like playing Lapse of Certainty for the first time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
see it coming.
Yeah, I still like every time I play it, people are like, "Wait, what?"
Just to clarify, Lapse of Certainty is I think one of only two white counter spells.
There are three white counter spells.
This one counters anything though. So
Yeah.
the
The other two, no, there's Mana Tithe counters anything, but
well, this is the only white hard counter, I believe.
yeah. They can pay one and have it.
Yeah, there is no getting around this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, EK, resident white player, what'd you pick?
So I dug deep, and by I dug deep, I mean I went to like literally every white deck I play except for Saskia, and I pulled this one out of the box. It is called Core Cartographer from Zendikar. It is 29 cents. It's a common, and it is 3 and a white for a 2/2 Core Scout. When Core Cartographer enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library.
And that's
It is straight up ramp
Just
on a
the
body
card.
in white.
Yeah, usually white
That's
has
something.
conditional ramp. This is unconditional white ramp.
Yeah, this is literally like a solemn simulacrum that can fetch non-basics, but it's
Yeah.
not an artifact. So like,
It's a card I don't
whatever.
see a lot,
yeah.
and I'm sorry I forgot about it from my mono white deck. But
I put
Yeah.
it in my Ocatcher deck when I had it.
yeah,
like this is a card that everyone's sorry they forget about, but like really they shouldn't, because it's one of white's few straight up ramp options.
Yep.
and you get a
And
little
it's
body with it. It's 29.
Yeah, you get a 2/2, and it's 29 cents.
Dude, that's so much
like-
cheaper than Solemn.
Yeah, Solemn's like almost 4, like maybe
Five.
even is over $4.
He's
Yeah,
up
It's
to 5
about
now.
to go down.
That's
Maybe.
true.
Reprint.
Yeah, he's
M21.
getting a reprint. All right.
but it's like it's still so incredibly sought after. Like if you're playing white, you're better off just playing this instead, because it pulls.
I mean, Por qué no los dos, I guess.
Play both. Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, probably you do. But like, if you're in a multicolored deck, like I can pull my Temple Garden, or I can pull like my Canopy Vista or something.
Yeah, it just says Plains card, so you do have the ability to
Triumphs.
get dual lands or
Yeah,
triumph.
you can grab a Triumph even.
If you
That's
really,
actually-
really, really want to make sure you get the Plains triumph, you know what I mean? There's two,
Right.
there's what, 3 of them?
Yeah, but I mean, like those are coming in tapped anyways, so it's
So it doesn't matter, yeah.
exactly it doesn't matter.
All right, moving on to blue. Let's start with Astrals this time.
Ooh. Totally didn't have to find this last minute because I suck at homework. No, actually, legit. Like an hour before the stream, Adam was talking to me. It's like, we should probably find a blue card. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So when
I
out,
just thought that was the homework, so I just like imposed it on you.
I misread the homework, and I'm normally a good student. But
You read the homework? You're way ahead of me.
oh, I know.
Oh, I assumed there was no homework, and I just picked 5 cards, and I just so happened to not pick a blue card because it's me.
It is you. Oh man, I didn't do a pun. Is it really me?
There's no red in your card.
just
I
read
know,
your blue
it's what's
card.
weird.
Just read your blue card, Sean.
Okay. So I picked Recall. It's a 39-cent card. Recall is XX in blue. Choose and discard X cards from your hand, then return that many cards from your graveyard to your hand. Remove Recall from the game. So you have Graveyard Recursion in blue.
Like straight non-conditional
just
graveyard
straight non-conditional.
recursion.
You just get rid of
Well, it's
X
a
cards.
discard card.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Like you need 2 cards to get one. But
You can actually overpay the X because the discarding of cards is not a cost for this card.
Yeah. It's
So
just
you don't
discard
actually
X
have
cards.
to have X cards, so you can like overpay, discard your hand, and then pick up that many cards.
Yeah. So like if you change X to be 10, I mean you're paying like 21 mana because of the double X cost, but still,
I
that's
mean,
10.
maybe you high tie at that turn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like you're getting 10
which would
cards
actually have been a really good card to have on our list
Oh,
today.
I mean,
by the way.
high tie's a good card. Though.
People know about it though. That's the difference.
yeah.
Yeah, we like the unknown.
Yeah,
But
only
yeah.
blue ritual, by the way.
But yeah, like recall was kind of my choice. It's like it's fun little recursion in blue. Just often ways you don't have stuff to get back unless you're doing.
Yeah, if you're not playing green, this is like a really good option if you want to have some recursion in your deck outside of lanes and artifacts.
Yeah, or even like Sun Titan and white with 3 CMC less or black for bring back 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was...
who's next for blue? How about Swazzo?
All right, so my cards are typically a little spikier. This is no exception. This is one that goes in almost every single one of my blue decks. Got Pongify. It's from Planar Chaos. This one's coming in at almost $6 on TCG Player. As an instant, for 1 blue, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Its controller puts a 3/3 green ape creature token onto the battlefield. Like we talked about before, destroying that word on a blue card is not really a blue thing.
No, not at all, actually.
It usually bounces, counters, deals with, but it comes back.
Change something into something else kind of thing, yeah.
A fairly black color option thing to do. And giving a 3/3, especially in Commander, where for 1 blue I can destroy a commander or something like that. Giving them a 3/3 is completely trivial.
Yeah,
it's
not
existent
too.
Yeah.
This also got a reprint, a functional reprint in Rapid Hybridization as well. Basically the same card, except they get a green lizard.
Exactly. It's, like I said, goes in all of my blue decks. It's something that you just can't do normally. So it's a great card to know about, great card to have.
Yeah, I think Pongify is definitely a format. Pongify and Rapid Hybridization are definitely format staples you need to look for when you're playing against other blue decks. Because like those two and Reality Shift are probably like the 3 blue removal spells that I like to think about as like non-counters, non-bounce kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, also just the fact it makes a green ape, by the way, too.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, they get a monkey.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Who doesn't love
artwork's great?
Who doesn't like getting a monkey?
I mean, the only problem that I see with Pongify is getting an ape token is fairly difficult.
What, like actually buying an ape token? You mean?
Yeah, finding somewhere that has an ape token that is a reasonable price. Good luck.
I mean, you can't monkey around on this stuff.
Oh, geez. I'll just move on to my card.
Yeah. Get out of here.
So, hey guys, did you know that blue had a burn card at one point?
What?
That wasn't a Tim.
Wow.
So this card's you may have heard of a cool card called Char, which was last reprinted, I believe, in a core set. It was 2 in a red for an instant, and it says Char deals 4 damage to target creature or player and 2 damage to you. Well, believe it or not, Char was not Char. At first, like Char was a shifted reprint of a little card called Scion Blast, which was printed back in Alpha when they definitely didn't know what any of the colors wanted to do. So 2 in a blue instant. Scion Blast deals 4 damage to target creature or player and 2 damage to you. This is $4, and it got its most recent printed was a time shifted card from Time Spiral. I'm not going to say like you're going to play this in like every blue deck, but 4 damage is a lot.
I like knowing that this exists.
Yeah, I do like knowing that, and the guy in the picture is getting a massive headache from this.
Dude, he's also like ripped as a side note.
Yeah, it's a pretty he's a muscle wizard.
But like 4 damage is actually pretty significant, like given what a lot of health creatures have, right? Like a bolt figure is like a 3, but a 4 stands out. A bolt doesn't kill a 4 toughness card. This is a 3-mana 4.
I will say this was played in standard at one point in a deck I used to play, actually, the Pickles deck, if everyone remembers that combo. It was a little combo involving Brine Elemental and Vesuvian Shapeshifter.
I love the decks.
Yeah, and it played this Unstable Mutation and Delay, along with some Venzers and Teferis, and then you would just get to a point where you would lock up the board with Brine Elemental plus Vesuvian Shapeshifter, like your opponent would never get to untap. So Sonic Blast did keep playing this deck just to remove problem cards because, of course, Red Deck Wins was a real deck, and I'd rather take 2 than take whatever Red wants to put at me.
Exactly. What you got, EK?
Did EK pick a blue card?
No, I also didn't pick a black card either because I don't play.
No, you did pick a black card, actually.
No,
Yeah,
I,
you picked a
yeah,
black
yeah,
card.
no, I did. I
You
did
did.
pick a black card. Jeez,
All right. Well, why don't you give us?
I'm picking a black card that should be a blue card. Let's just put it that way.
Why don't you flick? How
Counts.
about a green card that should be a blue card?
Are we going to green?
Yeah, well, your green card is essentially a blue card.
Yeah,
Okay.
It works.
So, to be fair, I picked 2 green cards, and they both are technically doing things that green wants to, or that blue wants to do.
EK ever the enemy of blue.
Yeah. To be fair, the blue card that you're talking about is an anti-blue green card.
That it is.
So, did you know that green has an extra turn spell?
What?
It's one of a kind. I think it's the only one of its kind, by the way.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So that card is it's called Seed Time. It's a 1 and a green. It's an instant. You can only play it during your turn. Take an extra turn after this one if an opponent played a blue spell this turn. And let's be honest, blue's always trying to mess with your stuff and do things on your turn. So you're gonna be able to cast it, like
Absolutely.
fairly consistently if there's a at least one blue player in your pod. Discuss. I know it's such like a crazy, it's a crazy concept.
This has come up before, and someone really went over the moon about it, but they didn't realize that you could only play it during your turn, so they tried to snipe a turn. And I'm like, this doesn't work the way you think it does.
That's gotta be a feels bad ruling against.
I mean, I said this card's still good, but you're like, it doesn't. You can't just like snipe someone's turn because someone played a blue card.
No,
Well,
but you can
so
still
I don't know if you guys remember. It was probably like 6 or 7 weeks ago. We were playing, and I play Seed Time in my Windgrace deck, and I'd like dropped Avenger of Zendikar down with like 20 something plants,
Ooh.
and someone got super greedy and tried to brainstorm on my end step. Yeah, Steven, you were playing in this game. Like that game was intense.
Someone got on your turn, you punish them with a Seed Time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dropped the Seed Time, which immediately started a 5-high stack of counterspells.
They did not want you to have that.
Well, I had like 20. I had an Avenger of Zendikar, 20 something plants that I had
Couldn't
bumped
let him
up with a
untap.
couple of lands. Like it would have ended the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was literally going to bring up that exact same situation. I was going to say someone may brainstorm on your end stuff.
But like, it's probably how many mana is Time Walk? Time Walk's 2.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's true.
So it's tied for the least expensive extra
cost.
turn spell in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean it has conditions, but
It has conditions, but in Commander, it's so easy to meet because like there's never not going to be blue at your table.
There's always blue in some way form. I think out of like all our Commander games that we've had and like hosted and done, I think there has only been one where no one has played blue.
Yeah, we went out of our way to do that.
Yeah, I know. It was a real effort, actually.
Out of all 8 of these decks right here, every single one of them contains at least an island.
Is that why your background is blue?
Probably.
Coincidental, but yes.
all right. So we'll count that as your blue card.
Yeah, it's basically a blue. It is a blue card. And side note, Rebecca Gay did the art on Seed Time, so you should just get
really cool,
get it for that alone. It's also like a $5 card.
Yeah, for your Rebecca Gay tribal commander deck, which is so many people do, I believe. I think she has enough powerful cards to make it work.
I would also
does,
like to
yeah.
point out that the price of Seed Time has like doubled, if not tripled, in the last year as more people kind of learn about it.
It's still $5, so
Yeah, it is still $5, which all things considered, compared to a lot of cards in this game, for like for what it does, it is so cheap.
Yeah.
All right. So now moving on in equal order to black spells. We'll stay with EK for this one because this is actually one of my favorite spells. Period.
All right.
Yeah.
So my black spell is called Sudden Spoiling from Time Spiral, which was also reprinted in a commander set. So it's a little bit easier to get. It is 1 black for an instant with split second, which some people kind of forget about.
That means nobody can do anything about this.
Yeah. Until end of turn, creatures target player controls lose all abilities and have basic power and toughness 0-2.
So basically, it's like you basically took a sorceress queen to everyone's entire this one person's board.
Yeah, or like imprison in the moon. I think is the blue version of this spell, but it's single target.
Single target, and it can hit creatures, lands, and artifacts. I believe I have it in
Wait,
Chromium.
I think I think it's either creature, something like that.
Yeah, but it's the same concept.
This is the humility. This is the humility in black. One time humility in black.
Yeah,
which like. I when I was looking at black cards, I kind of looked at this for like Crick, because for 1 generic mana and 4 life, you can cast this, which seemed pretty good at the time when my 1-track mind was thinking. But like in general, like it completely shuts down someone from going off on a combo turn, or you play this as someone has declared their attacks and after blockers have been declared as well, and then you just like wipe someone's board. Like there's so many possibilities with this.
I mean, like nixing like an Italian on an attack trigger is a big thing too, just before they get it in on that.
Or like they have like a really big thing and you want to make it not as big.
That too. Blightsteel Colossus Cough.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Gishath to keep it relevant to some of our interests.
Yeah, all their dinos became O2s. Yeah,
so happy I got this deck.
Yeah, like this is just something that black doesn't do, and it's $2.32.
It used to be a lot more actually, because there was a point where people were like really trying to get these. I think it got a reprint recently, but
Commander 2014.
Yeah. Well, I thought it got reprinted in mystery boosters for some reason, but
maybe
it might have. There was a huge card pool in there.
All I know is it's really cheap to get some form of a copy of it, which made it to my list for that reason alone.
All right. Speaking of things black doesn't do, Swazzo, what's something else black doesn't do?
Black doesn't stop combat damage very well.
What?
So I have a copy of this card back here in a turbo fog deck, but fogging is the stopping of combat damage, and fog is a very green ability. So we have darkness, also a time shifted card, coming in at around $5 or $6. An instant for 1 black, prevents all combat damage that will be dealt this turn.
It's black fog. It's
copy of
mana
fog. It's just a very neat thing. Like I said, I have a turbo fog deck literally right behind me, and it just sits there the whole game until I can just do something. But it's using all 5 colors to stop it. It's a pretty cool thing that black doesn't usually get to do. So it just caught my attention when I was looking through things.
Yeah, black doesn't usually mess with combat unless it like destroys something that's coming at it.
Like death touch, stuff like that. Like this is just nothing happened. It's pretty cool.
And like the fact they also kept like the 1 mana trade off for it too. Like it's not even like it costs extra. It literally is just black fog.
It's the exact same card, exactly.
Yeah, they really didn't know what black wanted to do back in the day. Black did everything.
Let's also point out that when Time Shift came out, they kind of were starting to realize what the different colors were going to do. But Time Shift itself as a set goes out of its way
color shift.
Yeah, exactly. Like the entire set is doing what the colors normally wouldn't do.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. How about we stay in the same block, and we'll go right over to Astral's pick for a black card.
Oh, I got a fun one here. I mean, we love talking about extra turns, right? So,
I like extra turns.
God, you guys are such blue players. It's not even funny.
I've reset. Well, actually, no, I don't reset that. I make his puns all the time. So my black card was Temporal Extortion from Planar Chaos. It does sit at $7.57, but it's when you play Temporal Extortion, any player may pay half his life, round it up. If that player does, counter it.
This player is always me, by the way.
I mean, you're always going to want to, but if they don't, you take an extra turn. So either you're forcing someone's half-life, or you get an extra turn. I mean, it's a very black card, and with a very blue twist.
Yeah, I remember playing the last time I played against this card. It put me to 10 on turn 3. So,
wow,
that works. Sure,
but it absolutely has to be paid. Like somebody's paying this life. You have to.
Yeah, extra turns in Commander are so devastating.
I mean, the funny thing is, I don't even look at this as an extra turn spell because, like you said, someone has to pay this. This is a 4 mana burn spell.
It's also rounded up, so if they're at an odd life total, like they're at lower
Yeah.
than they should be.
And Adam,
Yeah.
the only reason you have to pay the life is just because it hasn't gotten priority to me. I'm paying it too.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I my LGS I play. There's sometimes I play in a pod with people who just won't want to do this, so I gotta be the one to take the hit. And I remember one game. They were this one guy, one of the players, like I think he like Quietus spiked me like on the second turn, and then like he played this, and I'm like, fine, I'll go to 10. I did win that game. I'll have you know.
Hey, that's
Somehow.
Wow.
Yeah. I said to him, if I come back from this, I'm never gonna let you live it down. I have not let this person live it down.
Oh, you cannot.
And so you should.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And like every time he tries to come at me, and like, hey, remember that time that you put me to 10 and I still won the game anyway, and I told you I would never let you live it down.
Well,
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter, but I'm really proud. I said to myself, listen, this is like you think this will end my game, but it won't. Like
No.
I stand behind my statements.
Love it.
So turns out like there were lots of really good black cards that break the color pie in the Time Spiral block. Mine happens to be from Planar Chaos also, but it's a really, really powerful one. It's Imp's Mischief. 1 in a black for an instant. It's change the target spell with a single target. You lose life equal to that spell's converted mana cost. So this actually got featured on an episode of Game Nights where it was, I believe it was the Guild Challenge with Kenji Nakamura and Rachel Agnes, Baytog from the Twitter universe.
Mm-hmm.
She played this in her Orzhov deck, and I'm like, whoa, that card's awesome. I'm like, this is a black card I actually find myself using a lot. When I want to make a more spiky deck, I find using a lot because, like, especially if you don't play blue or red, because like it's in my Anjay deck, for example. Like I have this and I have like I play this and Fork.
Yeah.
Because I want as much protection for my spells as I can.
Well, like who's gonna expect it too, right?
Well, I mean,
everyone listening to this is not gonna think to expect it now.
Oh no, foiled.
But they're gonna be
again.
ahead of the game.
yeah. It's also very low cost, so it's extremely splashable. And at $10, it's a bit on the high end, only because it's only seeing one printing. But Imp's Mischief's just a really solid card for your collection for sure.
Gonna put it in your decks. It's gonna work.
Yeah, I would say this is you could find some more spiky decks, or if you were doing like a deck with black and it had was like a spell slinger deck, this could be like I've seen Drowning play this.
Yeah.
Or any.
This is just a more conditional Narset's reversal, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't bounce the spell. It just changes the target of it.
Oh, because Narset's reversal will copy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a misdirection than reversal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like green. But this is the only effect of its kind in black.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, this is like one of the only effects outside of blue that does
blue
this.
Blue or red, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue or red are usually messing with spells.
I mean, red is copy and like do it yourself, like Dualcaster Mage.
Yeah. Or it's got like it's a copy or redirect.
Yeah, I get Fork.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Fork is copy.
Yep. If Fork's a copy, this is just a misdirection. I guess straight up.
Yeah. No, that feels really blue to me.
Okay, so moving on to red. I'll stay with this one. Back to extra turns again. It's Final Fortune.
My favorite.
Red for an instant. Take an extra turn after this one. At the end of that turn, you lose the game. There's a lot of ways to make sure you don't lose the game with this card, and I've seen it used. This card actually gets a fair amount of play, but for under $2, it's kind of a really spicy include, especially if you have like decks that mess with the turns.
Sundial of the Infinite.
I would say if you're playing there's a lot of red decks that can run Sundial, like my one friend's Felden deck, which is a budget deck. But if it was not a budget deck, like you could run this and run Sundial, and you would just get extra turns and keep the tokens you make of stuff from your graveyard.
Well, the simplest, probably most efficient way to make sure you don't lose the game is to win the game on that extra turn.
That'll do it too. Or have like a Platinum Angel out or something like that.
Right.
Totally haven't done that.
Or Angel's Grace or something like that.
I mean, like if you're me playing this in Boros, like I'm playing Gideon at the Trials, so
yeah.
I mean, I rock it in Vivictus Osmani the Dire because like I got big shit. I'm ready to swing. I got Platinum
Alright.
Angel. Let's go.
All right. Astrals, red card, go.
So counter magic is very much blue. So I had to pick a really spicy inclusion for mine. There are only just a couple red counter spells, and this is by far my absolute favorite. It is Mage's Contest from Invasion. So it's $1.25, and I actually won this off of counter magic with this 2 weeks back. So it's you and target player spell bid life. You start the bidding with a high bid of 1. In turn order, you up your bid. Whoever wins the bid loses life equal to that. If I win the bid, I counter the spell. If my opponent wins the bid, their spell goes off. But
The question is, how much is your opponent willing to pay for their
Right.
oh yeah, I have
This
definitely
takes
bet
that
like
whole-
25 life on this. Once
This takes
before.
that whole Devil's Deal thing to a whole another
Oh, yeah.
level.
Yeah, this is like the red thing is like red does have like the gambling aspects to it historically, and this is one of them, but it never had a counter spell.
They have counter spells that kind of blue.
Yes.
But that's it.
Yeah, red just hates blue.
This counter anything.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
it's an unconditional counter. Well, conditionally you win this auction of life.
You're
with your opponent.
gonna try to do it though.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest.
Like this isn't something you're gonna pop on like a Soul Ring or something. You're saving this counter for like your opponent's big play. You're making sure you've got a stock pool of life, and you're gonna stop whatever big effect's coming.
So this is like expropriate level of counter spell.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
hands down. And it's so much fun when your opponent is like, I play Mage's Contest. What does it do? Well, we're gonna bid, and if I win, I counter. If you win,
Yeah,
it
if you're
doesn't
ahead,
counter.
they cannot outbid you.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. All right, EK, resident red player. What's your card?
My red card is a Boros card because obviously it's me. So I picked Sunforger. I picked Sunforger from Ravnica City of Guilds, the original Ravnica set. It's a $2.77 Haymaker for 3 mana. It's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. And then its equip cost is 3. But for a red and a white, you can unattach Sunforger, search your library for a red or white instant card with converted mana cost 4 or less, and play that card without paying its mana cost, then shuffle your library. Chances are all of your instants are going to cost 4 or less, or you're going to go out of your way to do that. So it's basically pay a Boros, get any instant from your library and cast it.
Yeah. And it's like this is a multiple. You could do this many times in a turn, so like you can have a really huge spell slinger turn kind of thing. Especially like
I play this in Sir Gawain, and Sir Gawain can equip for free.
yeah, this card was also featured in that episode, the Guild's episode of Game Nights.
Yep.
Josh had used this with Smothering Tithe to great effect.
So to be fair, like this is probably Boros' best card. Like
Yeah,
hands down.
Okay,
If you're
there's-
playing Boros, you're playing this card.
there's a good chance you're playing this. It just does so much.
Yeah, it does. I was thinking about how to describe this earlier. I think the reason why this is so good is because it does literally everything red and white can't do.
Yeah,
Probably is a good thing because
play
you know,
free spells.
well, like
Most
we all
not
know
Boros,
the stigma for red and white. Like it's the quote unquote worst color combo in the format. So the fact that they have a card that does everything that the color combo normally can't do is probably a good thing.
Oh, hands down.
And I guess it's kind of a red card because it's all about like instants and sorceries, and you're probably grabbing combat tricks, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. All right, and probably for my actual favorite card in this entire segment, we'll go to Swazo for his red card.
I'm like, if you can see the video right now, I'm like actually giddy about to talk about this. This card is so weird. All right. It's Aether Membrane. It's a card from Planner Chaos that comes in at a whopping 70 cents. It's a creature wall for 1 and 2 red. It has Defender, Reach, and whenever it blocks a creature, you return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat, and it's a 0/5. This is the least red card I could find possible.
I mean, red
Not
does
a
have
single-
walls, but not like this.
No,
Like-
this is big different.
Like
also
red,
never
I
makes
think of haste. I think of attacking. This thing can't even turn sideways. Reach is a green keyword that blocks flying, so why not? Let's throw it on there. And then returning permanents to hands. We discussed how blue that is, and why not, right? I love
I'm not
this
saying
thing.
you're the line commander, but you will get somebody with it.
Like, why not? It's cool. I'm not sure this would go in my decks, but this is the coolest one I could find.
Before the show, we were talking about what decks you would actually play this in outside of the memes, and I misquoted what deck to play it in. I thought there was like some weird Kamigawa legendary to put it in. No, the real answer is you play this in Pramicon. Jeskai Wall
yeah.
Tribe.
Yeah.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably one of your
Oh.
best, honestly.
Like, it actually fits in that deck.
And it
Actually
does all the
crazy.
stuff it should in that deck too. That's yeah.
Because I mean that entire deck is about just completely screwing with the combat step.
Yep.
And I don't even know what Aether Membrane. Yeah, see, it's such a weird card. I can't even remember the name of it.
It has that weird AE letter too.
Yeah,
So that just gives you an idea where we're going with this thing.
Which
Yeah,
the
it,
artwork is very cool though.
it is.
oh yeah,
They
totally.
did kind of capture this really weird card.
I
Yeah.
agree. Like, actually,
But-
fun fact about like the Aether name too. Most of the time, that name typically only shows up on artifacts or blue cards.
Or
Very
blue,
rare does it show
exactly.
up outside of those colors.
But this
Even
isn't
the
even
name
a
is color breaking.
Oh,
No,
no,
that's
I
what's
mean-
great.
I mean, it's like this is basically a Simic card. If we're
Yeah, it is.
thinking
Yeah,
about it.
honestly.
It has reach and it bounces things.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. And
Got it.
wrapping up with green, we'll stay with Swazo on this one. What you got for us?
So I have probably, of my 5 cards, this is easily the most played one out of them. You already know about this card. You're going to see this card if you don't. It's Beast Within. It's most recently reprinted in Commander 20. It's only about $1.50 right now. It's very similar to Pongify, except it takes it up a notch. An instant for 2 and 1 green. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Like we talked about, that 3/3 sentence just literally might not even exist sometimes. It doesn't
matter when you blow up their
when you are destroying
something.
anything on the battlefield you don't want there, you will give them a 3/3.
Yeah. It's just like say goodbye to your Gaia's Cradle. You know, it's a nice place.
Anything. Like
literally-
lands are permanents, guys. Like this is-
Yeah, lands, planeswalkers, anything.
Yeah. Green is really good at dealing with flying creatures, really good at dealing with enchantments, but not literally any piece of
Also,
cardboard.
an instant, which is not a green thing.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not even sorcery. That's a good point.
Mhm.
I had to double
It's
take on that for a second.
really, really good. And you will see it if you don't know about it, and you're already playing it if you do. So,
Yeah, I want to say this is probably the green card I play the most,
absolutely.
other than like rampant growth, probably.
I've got it in my modern decks. I've got it in my commander decks. I've got it where it's playable. Like, if it's legal, I'm probably using Beast Within somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got an interesting green card. It's a time, and it was time shifted. This is all, but this card comes to us all the way from back in the Legends. It's called Avoid Fate. It's a 1 green for an instant. Counter target instant or aura spell that targets a permanent you control. So it is oddly specific,
Yeah.
but
It's 1 mana.
it's
or
well, I'm saying like want control magic your guy. No, avoid fate. What else? What else?
Prison in the Moon. We were just talking about it earlier.
No, avoid it.
Quantified, Beast Within,
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. Like basically half the instance that we've talked about.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Or just like an instant. Like I like this is basically like a pseudo. It's not as good as Veil of Summer or Autumn's Veil, but it's good enough. It's definitely good enough. And at 215, like it's not terrible. I'm not saying you're gonna run this card a lot, but it is interesting that green got a pseudo like the pseudo counter spell. Like it counters very specific things, but then green doesn't like his stuff being touched. So
Yeah, and I mean it.
it
Like,
is
it can pay off for
appropriate.
one
That
mana.
aspect's appropriate for the color bar, but the fact that it's counter magic is not.
Yeah.
EK,
I was gonna say I'm going next because we need to save Sean's green card for last.
Oh, we have to. Yeah.
So my green card is Primal Order from Homelands.
Thank goodness I hope this card made it onto this list.
Yeah, it is 39 cents.
Koskin Falls not featured on this list, by the way. Go look that one up. That's a gem.
So Primal Order is 2 and 2 green for an enchantment. During each player's upkeep, Primal Order deals 1 damage to that player for each non-basic land he or she controls.
This card is good.
So good.
We didn't even know it existed until we started doing research for the show either. Like it's that sleeper of a card.
This is a card that you would put in like this is like a gruel card. You punish greedy mana bases with this card. You say no bougie non-basics, please.
Yeah, like I was thinking like gruel smash or like green stompy.
I would say our friend Rod would not like this card very much.
No, Rod probably wouldn't. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm not liking it.
2 and 3 color decks. He's not on, and he's on the. I'd rather play a tap land over a basic at times. Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely getting punished by this.
Yeah, I want to say like red is usually the color that cares about non-basics, but like green. Yeah, but green. This is the only green card I can think of that does. Other than
I mean, all things considered, red is the screw with your lands.
Yeah, red
outside of like Armageddon and like Cataclysm and stuff like that. Yeah, red is the color that's screwed
without removing it. Yeah,
but like this is also kind of a stacks card.
It is
kind of, yeah.
And like green doesn't do stacks.
Right. Yep. It also like if you use this in conjunction with like Root Maze or something like that, that'd be pretty mean too.
Oh yeah.
Like they get a non-basic tap. Oh, you have to take a damage for that now.
This makes me feel bad when I play 5-color Niv now.
Yeah.
Everything I play is
basic. Yeah, because you have like 1 of each basic and that's it.
2 of every basic, 11 gates, 3 non-basic lands, and 5 fetches, amongst a few other things.
Yeah, so like what you're saying is like there is no way around there's no way around this for you.
It's like I'm just gonna scoop and I'm gone. That's the door. So,
yeah. I'll join in next game, boys.
I'll call it for now.
And it's 39 cents.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am gonna go find a copy of this card.
Yeah, this is like the really cool budget pick that you didn't know existed, but are totally gonna want pick out of like.
You may lose some friends if they all play greedy mana bases, but everyone who's playing monocolor will love you.
You'll lose me.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm gonna let that one resolve. It's okay.
All right. And last, Astrals, this is the breadwinner on the entire list, I think, just because of its price point.
I mean, it's probably by far the most. I'm kidding. It's not affordable by any stretch.
No, it's not affordable. No, you're probably not playing a card in any deck.
No. So a few people probably already guessed this. So guys, the card I'm talking about is Drop of Honey from Arabian Nights, sitting at the big price point of $400.
$399.99.
Okay,
hashtag get rid of the reserve list.
Seriously, it is on the reserve list. So it is a 1 mana. It's a green enchantment, 1 mana only. During your upkeep, the creature in play with the lowest power is destroyed and cannot be regenerated. If there is a tie, you choose which to destroy. Drop of Honey must be discarded if there are no creatures in play. So basically, you have a 1 mana green enchantment that sticks around and nukes the lowest cost card all the time.
Yeah, so just never be that person with the lowest power thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, it's a very green thing. Green is trying to play the biggest creatures.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it also plays the smallest ones to get the big ones out.
Yeah, so this will inevitably kill some of your dorks. Although there's other 1/1s, it may disincentivize your opponents from playing them for a while.
Yeah, but not also now you can't play your birds.
They can. Yeah, they can play. They can't play birds. They can't play anything with 0 power. It's pretty much unplayable.
We're a very animal friendly podcast, and like this is very unjust against birds.
What do you like, roast Birds of Paradise a la carte or barbecued?
I'm gonna go with Gilded Goose Confit.
I bolt the bird at all my barbecues.
It's just unfortunate the reserve list exists because this is a really cool card. But unless you're like sitting on a fat 400, I don't think you're gonna be buying this anytime soon.
Unfortunately, not. I'm like, how often are you even gonna play this either?
I don't know
Like-
what I put it. Yeah, I don't know what I put it in.
Like if you had this, would you play it? I guess is my question.
Maybe if you were gonna play that in like the new Godzilla deck, where it's like a Power Matters deck, and you were never ever gonna get hit by this thing.
What if
To
or
answer
you what,
your
what if you play this
question,
with Zavala?
If I had it, 100% I'm playing it, but I don't have
Are you
it.
playing it because you think it's a good card, or are you playing it
No.
because you want to flex?
Because I want to flex if I
Yeah.
have it, absolutely.
That's a very Swazzle thing to do. I mean, this
Oh.
totally goes in Vanify, right?
I mean, every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's up to him to decide.
I'll let you know when I hit it big.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, and that's all for our color pie breaks for this episode. Did we miss any? Or do you have ones that you guys like? Let us know by hitting us up on Twitter or posting in the comments of this episode.
Before we completely wrap the segment, I do want to say, did anyone learn anything from this segment?
Yeah, Aether Membrane's a card.
Yeah. EK
Um,
doesn't choose blue cards. He only chooses green cards that act like blue.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm not sure I learned anything, but I reaffirmed that you don't like blue. You have an anti-blue card and didn't even pick a blue card.
I picked a blue card in a different color, okay?
You're not wrong, but also, yeah.
I love it.
I do want to give a special shout out to Chains of Mephistopheles, which is another expensive card that didn't make this list. It's a black enchantment that counters stuff.
It was widely thought that prior to this episode I was going to have 5 counter spells, but I didn't end up
Yeah,
doing
Sure,
that.
you're gonna pick Chains of Mephistopheles or Withering Boon for your black card, but apparently not.
Yeah,
It
but
I
was
did
on the
I did
dry-
learn
on
that
the
you
dry
play.
board.
Or I'm gonna say I didn't know that you played any other cards that weren't counterspells. So I did learn. I did learn
I'm
something.
usually holding them, but I'm almost casting the counter spells.
Yeah.
I never get a chance to cast the other ones.
I think we got to be honest. We all lost the betting pool here. That Swazzle was going to pick 5 counter spells. We got.
Yeah, we didn't make it, but he did pick a bunch of removal. He did pick a bunch of removal spells.
He did.
I'll,
Yeah.
It's-
I'll give you guys the QR code for my Venmo after the class.
All right.
Right.
All right. Well, guys, as always, thank you for joining us. You can find us at Draw for Turn on Twitter and at Instagram at Draw for Turn Podcast. We try to post daily, weekly when we can. So drop us a follow, get in on the conversation. Why don't we take it through a wrap up here?
All right, cool. Yeah, you can drop me a follow on Twitter at DES_AdamN. I want to, as always, I'm giving a shout out to my 2 local game stores, Todd Deck Games in Westmont, New Jersey, and the comic book store in Glassboro, New Jersey, who are just opening up this week for some light retail.
Awesome.
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, chat at EQ Plays Cards, and shout out to my many local game stores in the Chicagoland area. I can't pick just one this time because I played favorites last time, so all of them. I tend to go to most of them, so hopefully I see you there? Question mark. In
when we can get together again, yeah.
Exactly.
Things open up.
Exactly.
You guys can find me on Twitch. I mean, you're already here. Twitter and Instagram at Astros Flame. I tend to stream MTG Arena, Diablo 3, and some other games in between. Also starting up some motivational stuff. So if you're wondering about self-belief, motivation, how to just get better at trusting yourself and confidence, come check it out. Friday nights, I host our Commander podcast here as well. And I want to give a shout out to Harry Tarantula and Face to Face Games in the Toronto area. Harry Tarantula, because I won some sick prizes for turning some stuff in, and Face to Face because I finally got my Gish Hat deck after like 3 months.
Thanks, Face to Face.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Now you can play something that's not a dragon.
Wow.
But why would you want to?
But he has Ricksmithies. Ricksmithies isn't a dragon.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Swazzo TV. And shout out to Oblivion Games in Tampa, Florida, and go to Cool Stuff Games also in Brandon. Hoping they're reopening soon. So looking forward to playing some paper cards again, guys. Can't wait.
Are you going through withdrawal?
Very much so.
Yo, we can get into
Oh,
some
I think we can fix that.
Yeah, I've come down with a case of missing the homies.
Yeah.
It's starting. Yeah, it's starting to really affect me. I can't wait. I'm glad things are hopefully.
That's why
Hopefully
we've got
changing.
each other.
Gotta believe.
Exactly. All right.
Whoa.
Well, as always, everyone, remember, untap, upkeep, support your local game store, and
Draw
for
for
turn.